Okay, today we are going to talk about empowerment and sustainability. How do we empower someone to be able to live a healthy life in our community? When we talk about empowerment, we should look at the AA community, not so much the AA community, but the substance abuse community. They have a great way of empowering an individual with substance abuse to be able to live a healthy life. But most of my reference is not going to be towards that book. But there's a book called The 12 Step for Everyone, which Jerry Heichfield wrote. It's 12 Steps for Everyone. That book, the first thing we talk about when it comes to empowerment is acceptance. Acceptance is a big thing. You have to be able to accept that you are not in control of everything that happens in your life or other people's life. You have to be able to accept that there's only certain things you are able to control, and the rest you have to let it go. Once you accept that you cannot control every single part of events that happen in your life, you empower yourself. There's a sense of freedom. There's a sense of letting go some of that anxiety. I work with inmates, and a lot of them are waiting on anxiety and want to control what the judge is going to do. And as soon as they see that they can and they accept, I cannot control what the judge is going to do, some of that anxiety goes away. Obviously, there's anxiety of not knowing, but most of the anxiety goes away once they accept I have no control over certain events. Next is the control of others. So often we want to control other people, what other people think about us. We want to control what other people say about us. We want other people to like us, and we want to control them in doing these things. Once we accept that we have no control over no one but ourselves, we feel empowered. So many parents, I have to teach them in my class that controlling your kids gets real frustrated for them because you cannot control an individual. There's consequences no matter what, but you cannot control a person. I teach them to influence those people. You influence your kid. You guide your child. Once they accept that control is not the issue, they empower themselves. Empowerment comes also being able to ask for help. If you don't ask for help, there's no empowerment. So many people think asking for help is taking away your empowerment, taking away, but it's not. It's actually helping you. We have to accept that there's certain things we cannot do by ourselves. And that leads me to higher power. For me, my higher power is God. And I have to learn, and I'm still working on it, that there's things that I have to turn over to my higher power. If I don't, there's no empowerment. I have to be able to turn over these things to my higher power and move on. I have to be able to accept. And that's one of the biggest things, acceptance. Like we talked before, that I need some assistance. If I believe in my higher power, and I believe that my higher power is able to help, is able to guide me, I'm able to build acceptance. In order to maintain acceptance, though, and this is related, there's two things that I see people need to have. One of them is high self-esteem. So many times people can't sustain the empowerment because of low self-esteem. Sustaining your empowerment comes with working on your self-esteem. Working your self-esteem and sustaining your self-esteem is those intangible things that you cannot touch. Tangible is fine, but when you talk about maintenance, substance, are those intangible, like faith. Having faith in yourself that you are able to do the things that you say you need to do. Having faith in your higher power that you're able to turn it over to your higher power. Faith is not something you could touch, it's an intangible item. Self-esteem is not something you could touch, it's an intangible item. You could see it in yourself. The way you carry yourself, the things you're willing to do for yourself. Empowerment and sustainability, in order to sustain it, you also need knowledge. You need to be able to grow and to sustain. You need to have that knowledge. Some say knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Knowledge is only power if you use it. Dr. Jeremiah wrote a book called Destination. This book of Destination, there's a part in it that really I look at for empowerment and sustainability. Dr. Jeremiah states that you have to have two things, wisdom and knowledge. Without wisdom, you are not able to use the knowledge in the proper way. Without wisdom, when do you use the knowledge? Having the knowledge and having the wisdom to go with it empowers you, sustains you, because the wisdom allows you to decide and to see, when do I use the knowledge? It allows you to know the proper time and place to use the knowledge. You have to understand that without these things, without high self-esteem, or even working on your self-esteem, without knowledge, without the wisdom, there's no way to sustain the empowerment that you get. The 12 steps for everyone do not relate to substance abuse. It relates to 12 principles that we could live our life with, that we could maintain and empower ourselves and sustain that empowerment through life. It's one thing to talk about doing for yourself. It's another actually doing. In my work, I have a lot of individuals who talk and really mean that they want to do, but they don't empower themselves with the knowledge to do it. When it comes to sustaining, I do one thing for myself every day. Every morning I get up and I think, and I realize, hey, there's only certain things I could control today. This is mine, and this belongs to my higher power. And every time I get where I'm getting frustrated because I want to control someone, or I think someone's not doing the right thing as I think they should, which is not my control, I have to think about what can I do for me to empower myself again and sustain my empowerment. And what I do is I get up every morning and I say my serenity prayer, and it goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you.